Yes, the rest, please switch on your videos. So today we'll learn about a new infectious disease, okay? Infectious or communicable disease. Okay, it is a type of your zoonosis. Okay, so if I say zoonosis, if you break the word zoo and nosis, zoo means from animals. So this kind of diseases you have this from animals. Okay, for example, your rabies. Okay, so today we'll talking about your rabies. So, what is rabies? So, I hope many of you have heard about it. Rabies, RABIES, rabies. So, rabies is usually when a dog bites you. You know, that is common. Maybe you have not heard of the name of this disease, but you know that when you get bitten by a dog, then or get scratched maybe by a dog or a cat, these animals, then you need to go and take some injections, right? So, why? To prevent yourself from getting this disease. So this is the disease. Okay, this is the disease which is rabies. Don't worry, I'll give you the notes. Okay, I'll give you the notes in next class. So for now, you all just listen. So rabies. So rabies is also known as your hydrophobia. Okay, so you all know what hydrophobia is. That is fear of water. So it is otherwise called hydrophobia. Why? I'll tell you that afterwards. But then it the people who develop rabies, they also develop hydrophobia at some time being. Okay, that is the fear of water, and it gets so worse that sometimes these people they even fear to drink water, because just the thought of drinking water makes their throat spasmodic. Okay, their throat goes into spasm just the thought of drinking water. So this also scares them. Why? I'll tell you. But then this the clinical picture can be this severe. Okay, so usually the disease, it begins with some your prodromal symptoms. Prodromal symptoms means the early symptoms. Early symptoms you will usually have like headache, okay, malaise. Malaise means general feeling of weakness, malaise, and then sore throat and slight fever. So these are some of the prodromal symptoms or the early signs and symptoms. And in about like 80% of the people, they will complain of like pain or tingling sensation. Okay, pain or tingling sensation at the site of the bite, wherever the bite is by that animal, which may be your like dog or maybe bat. So that at that reason they will experience pain and then this tingling sensation. Okay, so it is a zoonotic disease or zoonosis. Now, what is the agent that causes your rabies? The agent is a RNA virus. Okay, RNA virus, or specifically the name of the virus that causes it is the Lyssa virus type 1. Lyssa, okay, LYSSA, Lyssa, Lyssa virus type 1. So, who are the sources of infection? Okay, the sources of infection to men is the saliva of an infectious animal. Okay, the saliva of any infectious animal. Now, what can be these infectious animals? Okay, the dogs and the cats. Usually, the dogs and the cats, the virus, that is the Lyssa virus, it is present in the saliva. Okay, it is present in the mouth, in the saliva for like about 3 to 4 days, or sometimes maybe 5 to 6 days of the dog or the cat. So during this period when they come and bite you, so there are high chances of transmitting the infection. Now, who are the host means who all can have this virus in them are all warm blooded animals, okay, and also your men. Warm blooded animals. Now, what are these warm blooded animals? These may be your dogs and the cats, okay, and dogs are the main host. in the Asian countries and in the African countries, your dogs are the main host. You develop rabies because of the bite of a dog. Okay, but in the US, okay, in the United States of America and also in Canada, you get the disease from the bite of bats. Okay, bats. So bats can also be a host and transmitter. Means all warm-blooded animals can be a host as well as transmitter. I'll show you. So can this picture how rabies can spread? It is not only from the dog. So how will the virus come to your dog? Okay, your dog, sometimes it might be bitten by a raccoon dog, or the raccoon dog was bitten by a mongoose. So from the mongoose it comes to the raccoon dog, from the raccoon dog maybe to the dog. This is just an example. Okay, this is not that only in this way it will be transmitted. No, this is just an example that it can also happen in this way. Means the picture can be this as well. Okay, means the sometimes these wild animals such as the mongoose and the raccoon dog, they can bite your domestic dog as well. Okay, so after that when this dog comes and bite human beings, so they also get infected. And sometimes what happen is that maybe from the bat or fox and then to the dog, and then they come and bite you, because it is not very like common to get bitten by a bat or to get bitten by a fox. It is not that common for you. We human beings usually get bitten by dogs only because we are surrounded by dogs. We are not surrounded by mongoose or raccoon dog. So your dog may get the infection maybe from any kind of wild animal, and then when this dog or maybe your cat, they come and bite you, then the virus is present. Means after the dog was bitten, maybe for example, let's take the example of a fox. So if the dog was bitten by a infectious fox, now after the bite, for about like 5 to 6 days, okay, for about like 5 to 6 days, the infectious organism, that is the virus, the lysa virus, it will be present in the saliva of the dog. Then when this dog, within that period of 5 to 6 days, when this dog comes and bites you, a human being, then the human being also get infected by this virus. So this is how your transmission cycle works. This is just an example. Okay, not that it will be spreaded in this way only. So this is just an example. Clear? Is it clear till now? Clear? Okay. So next comes your mode of transmission, means how it is transmitted. Now you know from whom it is transmitted. It may be transmitted from any warm-blooded animal, maybe the bite of a bat or your dog or your cat, anything. Any warm-blooded animal can transmit the disease because they can possess the infectious organism within them. Now the mode of transmission, means how is it transmitted. So it can be transmitted maybe by a bite or also maybe by a scratch. Okay, even a mere scratch can lead to this disease. Okay, just a scratch can also lead to this disease. So you better be careful. Even if you get a scratch from your dog, you need to go and check for symptoms. Even if you are not showing the symptoms, you need to take the precautionary measures. Okay, I'll let you know what are the precautionary measures, but these needs to be followed, because even a scratch can lead to your rabies. Not only dog bite, even the scratch from a dog can from an infected dog can also make you develop rabies. Okay, so these are the mode of transmission. Although by scratch it is less common. Okay, by bite only it is more transmitted, by bites only. Now, what is the incubation period? So, the incubation period is 1 to 3 months. So, like within the period usually within this period, that is 1 to 3 months of being bitten or being scratched by an infectious organism. So within 1 to 3 months you will start showing symptoms. So it is not necessary that immediately that day itself you will show the symptoms. It might take as long as your 1 to 3 months. But the interesting thing is sometimes you may see the symptoms even in 7 days, or sometimes you may not even see the symptoms for years. Okay, for years, but it will show in your lifetime. Now I'll tell you one story. This was told to me by my professor, okay, by my general medicine professor. It was told to me. So he told us that he had a friend of him who was bitten by a dog, okay. So at that time he did not develop any symptoms, okay, there was no symptoms, nothing. And the person, so usually what we should do is after being bitten by the dog we should go for injections. So he didn't go for any kind of infection. Why? Because he thought that he has not developed any symptom, and it was not that severe bite. So it was just a mere, maybe a lick or just kind of scratch. So it was not that severe. The wound was also not there, so he didn't go for any treatment. And like after many years, like after 30 40 years, after 30 40 years, which is huge. So after this 30 40 years, what happened to him was there was a sudden death. There was a sudden death of that person. And then after his death, when there was this postmortem studies, then it was revealed that his death was because of rabies. Now sometimes, so he was bitten by the dog like 30 to 40 years ago, and the time gap is huge. So after 30 to 40 years it led to the death of that person. So you can imagine like how severe can this be if you do not take precautions when it is needed. Okay, this person he did not experience any symptoms. So usually sometimes you may not even get symptoms as well, okay. Only when it gets fatal, only when it gets severe, you will start getting the severe signs and symptoms. As I told you, these prodromal symptoms, no, which were headache and fever, sometimes you will not have this, you will not experience any headache, you will not experience any fever. But later in your life you might develop some breathing difficulty or some problem with your muscles. Okay, so this happens because of that dog bite only. Okay, some means it might happen because of the dog bite. So it happened in the case of that person. So after 30 to 40 years he experienced symptom, and that symptom was his death. There was no other symptom, just that he was having difficulty with his breath, and then he was put into ventilation, and after that that person died. So this can be that severe. So now you know how important it is to take the precautionary measures. Okay. So now we'll talk about the clinical features. Okay. So, if you talk about the signs and symptoms, so depending upon the signs and symptoms, it has got five distinct stages. Okay, the way I told you yesterday for malaria, there were three stages, right? Hot, cold, and sweating stage. So, similarly, depending upon the clinical features which the people show, there are distinctly, it has been divided into your five stages. Your first stage is your incubation period. Okay, first stage is your incubation period. Second stage is your prodrome. 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 Third is your acute neurologic period. Okay. Fourth is your coma, and fifth is your death. Okay. So that person that I was talking you about, sometimes what might happen is that he may not experience the other symptoms, and directly he might go into sudden coma or death. So that happened with that person. Okay. So everyone please switch on your videos. Kindly do that. Yes, the rest, please switch on your videos. Okay, so we have this distinct five stages: incubation, prodrome, acute neurologic period, coma, and then death. So we'll discuss these stages one by one. Okay, first is your incubation period. So, what is incubation period? That is the time when you were bitten or the bitten by the dog or any warm blooded animal till the time you show the symptoms. That is your incubation period. So, it is the time. So, that is the incubation period. So, it is the time before your symptoms appear. Okay, it usually lasts for about like 3 to 12 weeks. Okay, 3 to 12 weeks. Usually, within that period, you should start showing the symptoms within this 3 to 12-week periods. But then it can take as little as your 5 days or to more than your 2 years. Now, the incident that I narrated to you, it took about like 30 to 40 years, so it can be more than 2 years. Okay, and you cannot say how much. So, and it is the worst case, because if you get the symptoms easily, you can relate that was because of a dog bite, you can relate that. But when you get that years after, so you will not even remember that you got bitten by a dog or something. What was the reason? So you will not even know. So that's the worst case. Okay, so now why this differs? Okay, why this differs? Because some people get the symptoms like within 5 days, and some people get the symptoms like after so long, after years. So why this differs from person to person? Now the thing is, the closer the bite is to your brain, okay, the closer it is to your brain, the sooner the effects will appear. Okay, see, if you are getting bitten maybe in your neck or maybe in your arm, okay, so these areas are closer to your brain. So you will start showing the symptoms early. If you are getting bitten in your leg or maybe in your feet, these are away from your brain. So you might be showing your symptoms late. Okay, the closer it is to the brain, the sooner you will get the effects. Clear? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, but the thing is, by the time you see the signs and symptoms, it usually gets fatal, means it usually gets severe. Okay. So, anyone who have been exposed to the virus, you should seek medical help immediately. Okay, without waiting for symptoms. Means one should not feel like, okay, I was bitten by the dog, but till now I have no symptoms, so I'll not take the injection. No, as I told you, you can see the symptoms so late. Okay, it can be like years. So once you are bitten or being scratched, so immediately you should go for the precautionary measures without even showing off symptoms. Okay, so next is your prodrome. Prodrome means your early signs and symptoms. So early, what earlier you might, okay, some people may not even have this stage. They will directly lead to the stage of coma and death. So if you are experiencing early symptoms, so what can be the early symptoms? Fever, fever that is everywhere. Okay, fever about like 104 degrees. Okay, you can get a fever of 104 degrees. Then headache, anxiety, okay, headache, anxiety, generally feeling of unwell, which we call as malaise. Then is your sore throat and a cough, okay, nausea and vomiting. Nausea means the tendency to vomit, and then vomiting, and then discomfort at the site of your bite. Okay, so how long can these last? Your fever, your anxiety, headache, vomiting. So these are the usual signs and symptoms that you get. Okay, so this can last for about like a period of 2 to 10 days, and as the time progress, this might even get worse. Okay, Now, next comes your acute neurological period. Okay, so what is acute neurological period? So if I say neurological, so it has something to got with your nerves. Okay, it has something to do with your nerves. So that is your neurological. So what is the role of the nerves? So what does nerves do? They transmit signals, or you can say messages, from your brain to your body, and also they take signals and messages from your body to your brain. Okay, so this is your function of the nerve. So when the neurological part of your body is affected, so this means maybe your nerves are affected, or your brain, or your spinal cord. Okay, so anything might be affected, anything related to the neurological system of your body. Now what happens when your nerves or your brain or your spinal cord are affected? People will start developing confusion. Okay, because the brain is affected, the nerves are affected, they're not able to transmit the messages or the signals required. So what happens is that the person starts developing confusion. Also the person goes into aggression, the person will be very aggressive. Okay, means they will start scolding or shouting even at the smallest of thing. So that will be aggression. So this can also be a symptom. Then is your partial paralysis. Okay, since your nerves are not working, so it might lead to your paralysis. Okay, then convulsions. Convulsions means loss of consciousness. So again, when your signals are not being transmitted so properly, so you might lose your consciousness. So you might go into a state of convulsion. Next is hyperventilation and difficulty of breathing. Hyperventilation means breathing in too much of air. Means you are taking more than necessary amount of air. Okay, so that is your hyperventilation. So why is the person hyperventilating? Now why is the person taking more amount of air? Because there is difficulty of breathing. So when you feel that there is difficulty in your breathing, you start breathing more rapidly, you start gasping air. So that leads to your hyperventilation. Next is your hypersalivation. Now if you break the word hypersalivation, hyper means more, salivation means the you are like secreting more amount of saliva. So you are producing a lot of saliva, and possibly what might happen is that this saliva might even come out from your mouth from time to time in a huge amount. Okay, like as if you are drinking water and throwing out, it happens something like that. So the saliva, it gets excessive in your body. Okay, it is being produced a lot. Next is fear of water. So, as I told you, this is also known as your hydrophobia. Okay, so rabies is also known as your hydrophobia, because people, after being bitten by this dog or being scratched, they start developing the fear of water as well. Then they will have hallucinations, nightmares, and insomnia. Now, what is hallucination? Hallucination means you will start seeing things which is usually not there. Maybe people are complaining of ghost. Okay, they are saying that I have seen someone, or they will say that I have seen a dead person. So, which is actually not there, but they will start hallucinating. Okay, they might even complain of people saying something to them which others have not said. Okay, so that is hallucination, means imaginary situation. They will start imagining situation, and they will try to prove that it is right. Okay, which is not even there, they will start imagining. Okay, so that is your hallucination. Next is your nightmare. Nightmare means bad dreams. Okay, the terrific dreams or the bad dreams that you get at night, these are your nightmares. Next is your insomnia. Insomnia means inability to sleep. This usually happens at night. Okay, when you are not able to sleep maybe till the morning. Okay, that is called as insomnia. But you, when you have slept in the daytime and you are not able to sleep at night, that is not called insomnia. Okay, you need to be tired to get a sleep, right? So when you are not working the whole day and then you are sitting at home, usually this happens in the lockdown period. We do not go out, we are having no physical activity. As a result, we are not that tired, and we also do not get the sleep. So this is not called insomnia. Okay, Insomnia is despite of your regular works you are not able to sleep, and that happens on a usual basis. That is insomnia. Now if you sleep in the daytime for like 2 or 3 hours and after that you complain of not being able to sleep at night, that is not called insomnia. Okay, insomnia is in despite of working hard, like despite of your regular routine, you are not able to sleep, not only in a particular period of time but always, okay, most of the times. That is insomnia. Okay, next is photophobia, which is the fear of light. Okay, so these people will start developing the fear of water and also the fear of light. And by the end of this phase, that is the neurological phase, your breathing that becomes rapid and inconsistent, means people are having difficulty in breathing, and as a result they start taking more amount of air, or their breathing it becomes like speedy. Okay, so that is your usual breathing rate is 12 to 20, so it increases beyond that, it goes beyond that. So that is your rapid breathing, and also it is inconsistent, it is not rhythmic. Okay, so these are about your, I have discussed about three phases: the incubation period, the prodrome period, and then this acute neurologic period. Clear till now? Clear till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so next is your coma and then death. Okay, so if a person goes into coma, so within few hours or few days, ultimately that person will die. Okay, unless they are attached to a ventilator. So when the person is in coma, if he is given the proper support, or it is very difficult to revive from coma. Okay, first of all, it is very difficult to revive from coma. I'll not say it is impossible, it is possible to revive, but still it is very difficult. So unless and until the person gets proper medical help or being ventilated, the person will die. So it is necessary to take the proper steps once the person enter into a state of coma. Now, what is coma? Okay, if I say coma, I know all of you know the term. What is coma? And you also know what it is. You have heard of it in your lifetime for sure, and you also know what coma is. But practically, you know what coma is. But if someone asks you to define coma, now that will be difficult for you. Now, can anyone say what is coma? Can anyone say what is coma?
And prolonged unconsciousness.
Yes, kind of your prolonged unconsciousness. But what happens in coma is, yes, you're right, it is prolonged unconsciousness, and also medically, if you define coma, then what you will say is there is no eye response. Eye response means the person will not be opening his eyes. Okay, means not only like spontaneously, but even if you call the person repeatedly, or if you shake the person repeatedly, even after that, even after this vigorous shaking, okay, even after this stimulus, the person will have no eye response, means the person will not open his eyes. So no eye response, no verbal response. No verbal response means the person will not talk. Okay, there will be no sound from the person, not only talks, no sounds. Some person even say when they are ill, even if they are not able to talk, they will try making some sounds. Okay, some sounds such as a, u, e, whatever it is, but they will try saying something. But these people who are in coma, they will have no verbal response, not even the slightest of sound. Okay, and no motor response. No motor response means no response of their hand or feet, means their muscles are not working completely, they have stopped working. Okay, not even their fingers will move. Okay, now by no motor response, you don't think that if they are not able to lift their hand or leg, then it is called no motor response. No, they will not be even able to move their fingers or even their toes. There will be no movement, even the slightest of the movements will be absent. So no eye response, no verbal response, and no motor response. So this is being defined as coma in medical language. Okay, clear? Prolonged unconsciousness, but when you say it in a medical terms, so you need to say that no eye response, no verbal response, and no motor response. Clear? And this all leads to your prolonged unconsciousness. Clear what is coma?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so when the person goes into the state of coma, so he needs proper medical treatment. Okay, proper medical treatment is required at this stage, because you can imagine a person with no responses at all. So this person will eventually go into the stage of death. Okay, so that is about your the different stages. Okay, now why is rabies called your hydrophobia? It is known as hydrophobia because it appears to cause a fear of water, and then intense spasm develop in your throat. Okay, even when you are trying to swallow things, because this usually, the exact reason has not been established yet, but it is being thought that maybe because you were infected by the saliva, which is kind of watery in nature. Okay, the saliva of the dog or the saliva of that warm blooded animal led to the disease. So the saliva, which is watery in nature, it led to the disease. So after having the disease, you will also develop the fear of water itself. Okay, even the thought of drinking water will lead to severe spasm in your throat. You will not be even able to drink water or swallow things. Okay, and the excess you will be developing, you will be producing more amount of saliva than needed, and it is due to the impact of the virus on the nervous system. So your brain, it is the master. Okay, your brain controls everything. So once your neurological system is affected, so this brain, it will send signals, and because of these signals, more amount of saliva will be produced in your body. So now the individual, since he is salivating more, he should also swallow his saliva. Okay, and if he doesn't swallow his saliva, then there are risk of spreading the virus to a new host. Okay, because the person was bitten by an infectious organism, that is maybe your dog. Now the person also got infected, the virus is present in the person. Now the person is salivating more. Now if he doesn't swallow his saliva, the virus is also present in his saliva. So if he throws the saliva out and this comes in contact with some other human being or some other person, or maybe another animal, maybe the dog. Okay, the dog, it goes and leaks everywhere. So if the dog leaks the saliva which is on the ground, so now the dog gets infected again. Okay, you're getting me? So this cycle, this keeps on repeating. Okay, so this cycle, it repeats. So it is important that if the person is infected and he is salivating more, it is important for him to swallow that saliva, or if he spits that out, he need to spit that out in a proper basin, in a proper wash basin. Okay, because if he spit it out in ground, and or maybe in any other object, if his saliva goes into those areas, so the person or the animals who again come in contact with the saliva of this infected person, they also get infected after that. So it is very important to swallow the saliva or to spit it out in a proper wash basin. Okay, clear? Clear till now? Clear to all?
ma'am.
Okay, so we'll end up today regarding your diagnosis, treatment, and prevention. We'll discuss that tomorrow. Okay, I'll give you the notes later on. We'll discuss the notes as well. Okay, so if it is clear till now, then okay, we'll wind up the class. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay, you can ask me in the group also. You can ask me, you can inbox me as well. Okay, so we'll end up today. CR, you send me the attendance. Okay.